NASA rescues the Voyager-2 spacecraft, SpaceX aces 3 launches from 2 coasts, and Rocket Lab is here to save the day. My name is Marvin Marshall, and this is the triumphant return of the Space Report News. SpaceX has been busy on both coasts launching a triple header, starting out in Vandenberg Space Force Base on Thursday, April 27th, and then heading out to Florida for a launch on April 28th and a Falcon Heavy on April 30th. A Falcon 9 rocket booster 1061-13 took to the sky for the 13th time. Yes, you heard that correct. This first stage has flown for an incredible 13 times now. Liftoff occurred from Space Launch Complex 4 East, or Slick 4E for short, at exactly 6:40 a.m. Pacific time. Everything was normal as the first stage carried the Starlink payload into orbit, passing max Q and throttling back up with no issues in sight. At T+6 minutes and 20 seconds, 3 Merlin engines relight to help slow the Falcon 9 first stage down as it re-entered the atmosphere, but unfortunately, it got a little too spicy and we lost video feed briefly. Cameras returned for the landing burn, which started at just over T+8 minutes, passing through the thick cloud layer, and there it was, waiting for us, the autonomous drone ship. Of course, I still love you. This was SpaceX's 113th landing in a row. We have been waiting for a kaboom on landing for over 2 years now, but right when it looked to be over, there was a kaboom. The depress vented the remaining propellant, which is a standard procedure after landing, but it would appear that there was still an open flame there on the deck, which ignited the propellant. It would be hard to imagine that this caused any damage to the underside of the rocket, which is again capable of withstanding supersonic propulsive re-entry through our atmosphere and landing. Hey, it wasn't a full kaboom, but we'll take it. How many more in a row do you think that SpaceX will be able to land before there's actually a big kaboom? Let me know in the comments below. Hopping from the West Coast over to the East Coast now, SpaceX set up for a double header the next day, April 28th. Just over 24 hours later, SpaceX was back at it again to attempt to launch a Falcon 9 and a Falcon Heavy from the same coast just hours apart. Unfortunately, the weather didn't hold for the Falcon Heavy launch, but we got one of them off. At 6:12 p.m. Eastern Time, a Falcon 9 rocket successfully launched from Florida's Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, carrying SES's O3BM Power 3 and 4 satellites aboard. The other 3 billion do matter. The launch was initially delayed by 1 hour thanks to some thunderstorms that developed to the south of us. With only a 20% chance of favorable weather conditions at the start of the window, luckily the storms all ended up forming south of us, allowing the launch to increase to a 70% chance of good weather. SpaceX's second launch in just over 24 hours went off without a hitch. We were treated to some amazing first and second stage views as we flew east away from the Florida Space Coast. As the booster approached the drone ship, the grid fins were seen putting in a little extra work today to help steer the Falcon 9 into position, ultimately nailing the landing. While it appears that SpaceX still depressed after landing with an open flame on the deck, the stream was not long enough to cause another little kaboom. This was the 114th landing in a row for SpaceX. They're just padding their stats at this point. Moving ahead just 48 hours, SpaceX was ready to give Falcon Heavy another attempt. It was a long time coming, finally launching the Viasat-3 mission aboard a Falcon Heavy. Originally scheduled for launch on April 18th, Falcon Heavy unfortunately had to have 2 Merlin engines replaced, which surprisingly only took 2 weeks. The launch window extended until 8:26 p.m. Eastern Time, so they made the decision to hold the launch until the last possible minute in the window in hopes that the wind would finally die down. And right on cue at around 8 p.m., it sure did. We filled up the Falcon Heavy with nearly 2.8 million pounds of propellant and got the go from the launch director at T-minus 45 seconds that we were go for launch.
Go for launch.
Lifting off at 8:26 p.m. Eastern Time, the 27 Merlin engines roared to life. Due to the timing of the launch, the twilight effect was out in full force. The twilight effect during rocket launches is a phenomena where the setting or rising sun illuminates the rocket's exhaust plume, creating a visually striking display in the twilight sky. We made it through max Q and booster separation, where both side boosters were seen in illuminated plume, firing their cold gas nitrogen thrusters just a couple times after separation. This launch needed 100% of Falcon Heavy's power, so neither the center core or side boosters had remaining propellant for landing. This is called expending a booster. During the stream, we also spotted two mysterious objects passing by. If you have any guess to what these could be, please let me know in the comments below. Satellites, aliens, maybe? After a successful launch and a second stage main engine burn number 1, SpaceX said we'll see you in 4 hours for payload deployment and left us floating through space. In total, SpaceX's stream was 5 hours and 4 minutes long, one of the longest mission webcasts that they have ever done. Roughly 4 hours later, we can see all 3 payloads being successfully deployed into a geostationary orbit. Congratulations to SpaceX and all of the payload customers involved. Seriously, an impressive cadence SpaceX has going on this year. Now, let's talk about how NASA rescued the Voyager-2 mission. Breaking news from the depths of space. NASA's Voyager missions are defying all expectations and continuing their incredible journeys through interstellar space. The long-running Voyager-2 spacecraft, launched in 1977, was originally expected to shut down some of its instruments in 2023 this year. However, thanks to a remarkable technological advancement by NASA engineers, the instrument shutdown has been postponed for 3 more years until 2026. Originally planned for instrument shutdown this year, engineers found a way to keep the instruments running by removing a voltage regulator. This bold decision enables Voyager-2 to continue its groundbreaking mission and unlock further secrets of the cosmos. Both Voyager-1 and Voyager-2 are powered by nuclear energy and have explored deeper into space than any previous probes before. These resilient spacecraft have become pioneers in interstellar exploration and venturing where no human-made object has ever been sent before. Scientists are closely monitoring Voyager-2's performance after implementing the new power-saving technique. The success of this strategy opens the door for Voyager-1 to adopt a similar approach next year, ensuring a continuous flow of scientific discoveries. Voyager-2 crossed into interstellar space in 2018, following Voyager-1's milestone in 2012. These extraordinary spacecraft continue to captivate our imagination and provide invaluable insights into the vastness of our universe. Stay tuned for more updates on Voyager-2's remarkable exploration. Now, let's head back to Earth for some Rocket Lab news. Next month, Rocket Lab will conduct 2 missions called TROPICS. That is short for the time-resolved observation of precipitation structure and storm intensity with a constellation of small satellites. Holy moly, say that 10 times really fast. Originally planned to launch from NASA's Wallows Flight Facility in Virginia, the mission was rescheduled to accommodate the operational needs for this year's Northern Hemisphere's stormy hurricane season. Rocket Lab has given these missions some catchy names: Rocket Like a Hurricane and Coming to a Storm Near You. These TROPICS satellites are a part of NASA's Earth System Science Pathfinder program and will provide valuable data on tropical cyclones and hurricanes. The goal is to improve predictive weather models and enhance our ability to forecast storm strength, giving people more time to prepare and evacuate. Peter Beck, the CEO of Rocket Lab, expressed the importance of these missions in a recent statement. The need for improved climate and weather data from space is acute and growing. Hurricanes and tropical storms have a devastating effect on lives and livelihoods, so we're immensely proud to be entrusted by NASA to launch the TROPICS missions. Rocket Lab is a private spaceflight company that has already completed 35 successful missions to date. With Rocket Like a Hurricane and Coming to a Storm Near You, these will be their 36th and 37th launches respectively. Rocket Lab has been working on making their Electron rocket's first stage booster reusable and made headlines last year when they successfully caught a falling booster with a helicopter. Now, you might be wondering when Rocket Lab will attempt a similar recovery next, and so are we. While the recent release did not mention anything, we will be eagerly awaiting for news on this exciting development. If you haven't seen my previous video about Astra's failed TROPICS launch, please go back to check it out. We also have an archive of astronaut interviews and more. Your thumbs up and comment on these videos really does help the Space Report News grow. That's going to wrap things up for this episode. Follow us on Twitter at Space Report News, streaming live on Twitch at You Got Any Grapes. And for a full autonomous rocket launch and event schedule, go to www.spacereportnews.com. We'll be uploading at least one Space Report News episode per week from here on out on YouTube, so be sure you're subbed and have that notification bell on. My name is Marvin Marshall with the Space Report News, signing off until next time.